Good morning. Good morning. Hi, this is David Theus coming to you from Fleming Island. Today is Sunday, July 17th. In real time, it's 11:19 a.m., but we're going to have some programming notes in just a moment. But this episode is a brand new episode. Just to give you some context, a couple of years ago, under the heading or the branding of PromoteClay, we did a Friday morning recap. At the end of each week, I would go on Facebook Live and do a crazy broadcast. I'd get a bunch of coffee in me, and we'd go Facebook Live, and basically we would recap the week's events through our PromoteClay activities. And Friday was the end of the week, so we could do that, and people would tune in, and it was kind of a hoot. In business, you're always trying to not necessarily recreate the wheel or reinvent the wheel, but you're always looking for things that work and things that get some attention. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that all my efforts here with Northeast Florida Business Alliance, we've rebranded our Northeast Florida Business Alliance, AKA the Alliance, and we're covering Clay, Duval, and St. Johns counties. But the overriding premise is that I am interested and invested in promoting you, your company, promoting each Clay County, Duval and County, and St. Johns as well. But I'm a staunch believer in the small business owner. I call myself the small business patriot. In fact, this podcast is a product of the small business patriot, of which you are probably potentially listening to this broadcast because it was within the Small Business Patriot newsletter. And so each week we will include this episode as well in that newsletter. So what we're trying to call this one now is the Northeast Florida Business Alliance End of Week Update. And all of our activities, if you're not aware, this happened on Thursday, but throughout the week, we've had some stuff this week, for example. And as weeks progress, we'll have some more activities that need to be accounted for. That will happen Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so just setting some groundwork. Just for those that may be listening on the podcast, I'm actually doing this in Zoom today. And so if you're only listening on Spotify, where we broadcast our podcast, and you can't find it on YouTube, then it didn't turn out as well as I wanted to, and we'll just keep it on the podcast. But we'll play with that a little bit. That's the cool thing about being a small business owner, is you can be flexible and hopefully nimble and listen to our customers and find out what's working. So let me get on with the program, if you will, real quick. So again, this is the Northeast Florida Business Alliance, AKA the Alliance, end of week update. And we've had a pretty full week. We had an exciting week with some of our members. And the thing that really worked for the PromoteClay Friday update was we got to mention some people's names and some business owners and some participants in our activities. So I think that's critically important. Everyone likes to be recognized. Everyone likes to be acknowledged. And if the goal here is to promote each other, one another, and promote our businesses, then that's what we've got to do. We've got to recognize one another and to promote one another. So that's how we're going to move forward. So let's get going with, some of you may recognize the format as we get moving forward. Let's just jump into this thing. So this week, one of what I call the original gangster, Renae Aiple. Renae Aiple is a financial advisor with Edward Jones, and she's just opened her own Edward Jones financial advisory office. And she's a Clay County resident. She lives over here in Clay County, but her office is located at 389 Paseo Reyes Drive, Suite 207. That's, I don't know if it's Reyes or Rise, R-E-Y-E-S, but 389 Paseo Reyes Drive, Suite 207 in St. Augustine. And that office is just off of Phillips Highway near Palencia. If you know where Palencia is, the country club community over there, it's just, her office is just north of the Palencia main entrance. And there's a couple of strip centers along the way there. And that frontage road is called Paseo Drive, or Paseo Reyes Drive, excuse me. But she's got a great office space over there. And she celebrated her grand opening this past Thursday. And a bunch of us from Northeast Florida Business Alliance came out to help support her. And I just want to recognize those folks that were out there doing just that. And there were other folks from the community. I think she had solicited or enlisted St. John's Chamber of Commerce to come out and do a ribbon cutting for her. We don't do ribbon cuttings, the Northeast Florida Business Alliance, but the St. Johns County Chamber of Commerce was there, and neighbors of her shop. She was good and invited the people nearby her office, and of course some clients showed up, and best of all, we got to meet mom and dad. So her mother and father were there, and that was a pretty cool thing. We've heard so much about Mr. Mike and how he's taught Renae to be thrifty and frugal, and to be a good saver and a good investor. And so that parental lesson has been passed down to the next generation. So anyway, Cleta Greenwood and Bernard Santiago, business partners over there at Just a Pinch Cafe and Catering, they were in attendance. And not only were they there to support her, but they actually provided the nosh, as I like to say, the samplings of food. They had a great spread of their famous chicken salad, the pasta salad, cheeses and meats, and oh my, all kinds of goodies that offer from. So Cleta Greenwood and Bernard Santiago with Just a Pinch Cafe and Catering. And if you're not familiar with Just a Pinch Cafe and Catering, they're located right here in Fleming Island, the cafe. And of course, they do catering. And so there was a perfect example where they put together a small business activity, and they were able to bring in the food and put a nice spread together and some beverages and have that available for Renae at her grand opening. So Cleta and Bernard, is great seeing you guys. Peggy Lynch of 21K Promotions. Peggy is another one of our members of Northeast Florida Business Alliance, and she's in St. Augustine. Her home office is in St. Augustine, Florida, but she is 21K Promotions as a promotional products where she calls herself the branding specialist. And so she'll help you put your logo, your brand, or your message on those imprinted on items, whether they be apparel or koozies or keychains or all kinds of things, anything. If it's customized, she'll find it and make your message great for her. So Peggy Lynch with 21K Promotions was there. Julie Payton. Julie Payton is one of our members as well, a mortgage professional, a mortgage loan originator. Her office is in Orange Park. And Julie, she calls herself the game changer. If you're looking for a mortgage or a refinancing solution, give Julie a call, Julie Payton, Payton, and she will definitely help you. And she's really a professional. I like Julie because there's plenty of times where refinancing is an option for you and you want to pull some money out of your equity, but she's the type of professional she's going to share with you the facts. She's going to show you the numbers and say, yes, we can do this, but this may not be in your best interest to do. And I think it's important to provide all the information suitable for the customer to make the best informed choice, instead of just slamming the refinance or slamming the deal through. She's going to at least give you these are the options. This is what the information is. And if it makes sense for you to do it, so be it. If you don't, she's going to give you a fair recommendation. So Julie Payton, she's a mortgage loan originator and professional, and she calls herself the game changer, and she really is. So give Julie a call if you need her help. And Cheryl Kennedy was there. Cheryl Kennedy is located in Green Cove Springs, and her company is Home Video Studio, Green Cove Springs. And Cheryl was pulling double duty on Thursday. She was not only an attendant and co-celebrating Renae's success in her new office, but she was also snapping some pictures. She's a professional photographer, videographer, and Cheryl's company, Home Video Studio, Green Cove Springs, they're mostly noted that they're the folks that can help you convert some of your analog video, like your Super 8s. I don't know if they do 16 millimeter anymore, but video, and they can convert all that stuff over to a digital format where you can find it either like a thumb drive or put it in the cloud and preserve those memories for future safekeeping. And she does a whole host of other things. As a videographer, she comes from a news background up in Georgia where she's done some work. She does some writing. She's actually done some where they've recorded some older folks that may be World War II veterans, or even just want to record mom and dad or granddad stories for your family to pass on. So she does some pretty cool stuff. So Cheryl Kennedy with Home Video Studio, Green Cove Springs. That's important. Home Video Studio, Green Cove Springs. Give her a call if you need that sort of work done. So that was Thursday from 2 to 6. Thursday afternoon from 2 to 6 out there at 389 Paseo Reyes Drive, Suite 207 in St. Augustine. Renae Aiple, AIPLE, and she's a financial advisor with Edward Jones. So we just want to say again, congratulations, Renae, on making it happen. This process started at least 2 years ago, pre-COVID. And of course, COVID came along and gave her some challenges with builders and folks that were building out her space. And then, it just wasn't the right time. And finally, the right time came about. I think she got a better location, and it's a beautiful office, very welcoming and very, very professional. And Renae is a very welcoming, professional person. So give her a call if you have any questions about your financial future and how she may be able to help you with Edward Jones in her office there in St. Augustine. So that was Thursday. Congratulations, dear. All right, moving on. So that afternoon that we did that, and then that evening from 6 to 8, we did Northeast Florida Business Alliance has an event on every Thursday. And I'm gonna get into some of the details in just a second, how the scheduling works. But we were in Clay County that particular night, and our meeting was after hours over at Magnolia Point Golf and Country Club down in Green Cove Springs. If you haven't been in there, Magnolia Point Golf and Country Club, for you folks that don't know, is what they call a semi-private club. And so there are social and club memberships available, and the people that live in Magnolia Point neighborhood are obviously members of the club. But it is a semi-private club, meaning that people, what they call outside the gate, can have social memberships, pool memberships, I believe, definitely golf and tennis memberships. And then you would have access to the restaurants as well with those memberships. So you'll have to check with Deneen and Trevor, the owners of the club, and they will inform you as to what membership's available. But the good news is you don't have to be a member. And so we like to go over there. They got great food, great service, great, the setting is gorgeous. You're at the club. You feel pretty good about being there. You're not rushed to get out like a restaurant's always trying to turn you over to get the next table. It's just a cool setting, and it's really, I think it's one of the gems of Clay County that's not a lot of people even know it's there. So Green Cove Springs, that's Magnolia Point Golf and Country Club. All you have to do is go to the gate. There is a security gate when you come in. Don't be intimidated, and just say, "Listen, I'm going to the pub. I'm going to have lunch today at the pub," and follow directions and get back there and enjoy yourself. So give them a tryout, Magnolia Point Golf and Country Club. So we were there Thursday for what we call our after hours networking gathering from 6 to 8. And we had a couple. Now, keep in mind, this is July. So July 4th, for 20 years, I've taken a vacation that week. And the week after July 4th is hit or miss. You get that kind of space in the middle of summer where people are taking their last vacation trips, and their kind of mindset is, I don't want to do anything on my normal schedule. I want to try and get one more thing in before the season starts. And so as we just didn't have a huge turnout, that's what I'm trying to tell you. And that's okay. That's just the way it is in July. But the people that were there, we were much thankful for. So I appreciate those guys. So Amy Brownfield was there with us Thursday night, and she's an agent with the West Bank Group of Watson Realty. She's a real estate agent with the West Bank Group of Watson Realty. And some of you may know her from her work that she does with Todd Knowles over Premier Gas and Grill over in Green Cove Springs as well. And if you haven't seen or been over this, check out Premier Gas and Grills. You've got to do it. It's over at 3293 US Highway 17, Green Cove Springs. And Todd is always cooking up something. He's a grill master, aficionado, and he's got all the spices and rubs and all the things that you can think about with barbecue, and all the cool grills, from pellet grills to traditional grills to eggs, all kinds of things. But give them a stop over at Premier Gas and Grills, 3293 US 17 in Green Cove Springs. And if you need real estate questions, maybe your property listed or you need to purchase a property, give Amy Brownfield. She is an agent with West Bank Group of Watson Realty. She was with us on Thursday evening. Welcome, Amy. Blaine Mose welcome, welcome to Mose, Blaine Mose of Don'tSlip.com. Don'tSlip.com. Check him out. Blaine Mose, one of our OGs. I don't know if he was first generation or second generation OG, but he's been around a long time. And he gets to us in the afternoon or evening hours because he's busy working during our lunchtime. Sometimes we have lunch meetings, but he's on the job. And so that's the cool thing about Northeast Florida Business Alliance. And I'll cover that schedule a little bit later on, how we try to accommodate people either for lunch or after hours, knowing full well that your schedule is your schedule. You know, I tell my folks all the time, life happens, business happens. Under our organization, I'm not going to dictate that you have to be there. I'm not going to take roll. I'm not going to ask you to calculate stats and closings and referrals and sits and one-on-ones. I expect you to be a professional and to do those things and understand those things are important. And I'm going to leave that up to you to run your business the way you run your business. I'm not asking you to run my business. All I'm asking you to do is just to be a part of it. And if it fits your schedule and you can pop in, then it behooves you to be a part of the organization and develop those relationships. So again, this is a perfect example. Blaine is not able to meet during the day because of his work schedule, but he loves our afternoon or after hours schedules because it gives him a time to decompress. It gives him a chance to meet with like-minded fellow small business owners. It gives him a chance to maybe have an adult beverage or not, or have a meal together. And so there's a social element that he can decompress from the throes of work and be comfortable around other like-minded people that understand those throes of work and get rejuvenated. So Blaine Mose with Don'tSlip.com. And if you're not familiar with his work, he does, there's a tremendous amount of risk involved for business owners and homeowners. You've seen all the billboards. If someone slips and falls in your business, expect a lawsuit. Or someone slips and falls at your house. You're having a housewarming party or a Christmas party or a birthday party and someone falls on the pool deck or someone falls in the bathroom, you expect a lawsuit. You better have some homeowners insurance to cover that liability. Well, he can help you protect you against that liability. And then he's doing a lot of work in pool deck rejuvenation or resurfacing. And so here in Florida, the pool is exposed to a tremendous amount of sunlight. Obviously, that's why we have them. And over time, that concrete or whatever that product is that was initially put on your pool deck just deteriorates because of its exposure to the sun. And he's got a great process and products that help resurface that with a non-slip surface. And it's beautiful when it's finished. So give Blaine Mose a call and look him up at Don'tSlip.com. Okay, Julie Payton decided instead of going home, and I did the same thing, as we would just go straight to Magnolia Point Golf and Country Club from St. Augustine from Renee's event. And I think that was a good idea. I got to meet Julie at the bar, and the two of us kind of had a little pre-event, just a chance to socialize, have a nice ice cool beverage, and catch up. We didn't get a chance to really talk a lot over at Renee's because each one of us were talking to different individuals. But this is the cool thing about the Alliance is it's really about building friendships that, relationships, professional relationships that we can leverage into friendships. And then it's that when that empathy and trust happens between two professionals, that's when referrals happen. That's when I trust that person well enough to give someone else my name and give them their name on my behalf because I trust that they're going to take care of my people just like I would of theirs. And so it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to invest in those types of relationships, but that's what we do here at Northeast Florida Business Alliance. So enjoyed hanging out with Julie a little bit before our dinner. And again, she's a mortgage originator, the game changer. Cheryl Kennedy. Cheryl happens to be close proximity to Magnolia Point Golf and Country Club. She and her husband, Stephen, live in the community as well. And so it was just a natural for her to run home and drop off her camera equipment and then run back to the pub and enjoy an evening dinner with us as well. So Cheryl Kennedy with Home Video Studio, Green Cove Springs. So we had five individuals, like including myself. I was there. 5 individuals. We had a realtor, a mortgage originator, a fellow that handles don'tslip.com, who handles flooring, and a videographer, photographer, storyteller, and myself, the organizer of Northeast Florida Business Alliance. And so, diversified group of 5 of us. It was the second week in July, so a lot of people in and out on vacations. But the key is not about the numbers. We're not an organization that has to have 50, 60 people in the room, and each one of us stands up for a minute while someone's watching the clock and ringing the bell. It's about building relationships. And so it's much more conducive for 5 people to sit around and have a chat. And we had some personal conversation. I shared some stuff about me that I would say these folks got to know me a little bit better, a lot better. And vice versa. There were some conversations that we shared, everything from business to personal interactions with customers, family members, and so forth. So it's about becoming friends and opening our hearts and opening ourselves up, being a little bit vulnerable. And those are the things you don't get to do in a typical, what I call quote unquote networking meeting. And that's what really sets us apart. I can't emphasize that enough. It is an investment. I told my daughters as they were growing up for years that friendships are investments. They're like your investment that you do at your 401k. They take time, they take energy. Sometimes they take a little bit of money to spend around people, going to dinner, something like that. But they really are investments. And if you're a long-term investor, then you'll spend the time and energy in the focus to build those friendships. And in the end, those relationships not only last longer, they're healthy, but business begets business. And so that's what we're all about at Northeast Florida Business Alliance. If you're looking for a quick hit, quick return, show up, tell your story, and then get out of there, it's not going to work for you. So in fact, we really don't want you in the group. Is that a terrible thing to say? But if that's your only method, if that's your only motivation, there's plenty of other networking groups maybe you can go to. A little disclaimer there. Okay. Now, moving on. That was Thursday. Pretty action-packed day. Friday, we celebrated some new members. Fridays for me are what I call wrap up or clean up Fridays. I always leave Friday's schedule wide open, so in case I've got some people that reschedule meetings with me, I can catch them on Friday. Or if I need to, see somebody that calls in on a whim. But I actually met on the phone with a gal, Hope Chesil. That name may sound familiar, you folks within Green Cove Springs, for example. But I met with her over the phone and said, let's get together this week. And we want to bring her organization, where she works, on as new members. And so I said, I've got Friday. What about Friday midday? And I'll come down and see you at, say, 10:30. And she said, perfect. So Dana Drake's Countryside RV. They're located at 4127 US Highway 17 in Green Cove Springs. Now, if you're heading south on 17 into Green Cove Springs, go through Green Cove Springs, over State Road 16, where you would turn left and go to St. Johns County. Keep going south. You'll see Vacon, the big plant where they make those big super vacuum cleaners on the back of trucks. And just past Vacon, there's a left turn lane in the middle of the median. Take that left and do a slight U-turn, and that's where you'll see Dana Drake's Countryside RVs. And what they do down there's a lot of folks that are purchasing and used RVs, for example, and they'll have them for a couple years, low mileage, great, they've been kept up, and they'll carry them on consignment on the lot and help them sell them. And there's some great deals going on down there. People are either moving into a new RV or a used RV, or they're coming out of the RV they've had for a couple of years and they want to look to a new one. And so this is a great marketplace for you to pick up a great deal on a slightly used RV or travel trailer. They've got the toy haulers, and they've got a good smattering of different things that are available to you, and all price points. I mean, they start at kind of I wouldn't say bargain basement, but the lower end price point all the way up to the big coaches. And so the fellow that owns it down there is Dana Drake. And what a super nice guy he is. I got a chance to speak with him for about 30 minutes. in the lobby of his business. And thank you, Hope, for introducing the two of us. Just a straightforward, God-fearing man that believes in providing for his customers the best service possible and doing right by his customers. And sometimes in those types of industries, it's challenging to find someone that's, that does it right. And Dana does. And so Dana Drake of Dana Drake's Countryside RV, just a great location. It's close by in Green Cove Springs, just south of Highway 16, just south of Vacon. And Hope Chesil, if you don't know who Hope Chesil is a Green Cove Springs resident. And she is the lady, I forget what I used to call her. She was a couple years back during COVID, Green Cove Springs canceled their Christmas parade. And this is probably what she's most famously known for. And she and a couple of her soldiers, neighborhood comrades, if you will, decided they were going to have a Christmas party. And so the city of Green Cove Springs was kind of under a mandate that they couldn't do it because of COVID, but they left it open for citizens. And Hope was the one who organized that Christmas parade, a golf cart Christmas parade. She and a couple of her volunteer friends, and they put together quite a whiz-bang Christmas parade, and they were involved in the one this past year as well. So she is a very community-minded, giving back type person as well, Hope Chesil, and she's one of the sales associates down there. I think she works on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays down at the Dana Drake's RV, Countryside RV, and she's a friend of mine. And she reached out and said, we'd like to participate in Northeast Florida Business Alliance. So if you're looking for an RV, or maybe you're looking to sell your RV, you got to give Dana Drake over at Dana Drake's Countryside RV and give Hope a call. Call her directly. I think that's a good idea. You'll see them. They're down at, let's see, Dana Drake's CountrysideRV.com. You can find them. Of course, they're on Facebook as well. So if you look up Dana Drake's, DANADRAKES, I'm looking at the business card here. Does that make it backwards? Hold on, let's see how this is. By the way, this is going to be a little bit of a looser format than we're used to. Yeah, look at that. Let's see. Can you see that? Let's get it in front of me. Yeah, you should be able to see. I can't see all those letters, of course, but Dana Drake's Countryside RV. You can find them on Facebook, and of course, .com. Dana Drake's CountrysideRV.com. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Okay, what else do we got? Oh, to wrap things up from at least the announcements, end of week update, we have a pretty exciting news for Saturday. This was yesterday this happened. So some of you know this, that PromoteClay, what I call the family of PromoteClay. It consists of PromoteClay page on Facebook. That's where I actually disseminate information out to the public about promoting folks. And then there's a group called ClayEats. And if you're not familiar with ClayEats, get over there and check it out. ClayEats, these are membership cards that you can get. And ClayEats is about promoting local restaurants, local Clay County-based restaurants, eateries, and food trucks. You have to be in Clay County. That's why it's called ClayEats, not Duval, not St. John's, not Bradford or whatever. It's ClayEats. And so we had a milestone celebration. We reached 10,000 members. And for those of you that understand Facebook groups and pages, 10,000 ain't bad. 10,000 is pretty exciting. And so, this idea started a couple years ago when I ran for Congress back in 2020. I ran across a site in Gainesville that, have to give them credit, the Gainesville Chamber of Commerce put together. And this was about promoting restaurants that were serving curbside and takeout restaurant, fare during COVID, excuse me. And I said, what a great idea. That would dovetail well into PromoteClay, not only during COVID, but to help promote our local homegrown restaurants. And so it turns out, I've lived in Clay County for quite a while. I never knew there were so many great restaurants. And just to give you a programming note on what ClayEats does, this is not a gripe site. This is not a, dare I say, bitch and moan site. This is a site where, picture you're standing next to your neighbor, your next door neighbor, and you say, hey, Bob, you're not going to believe this restaurant I went to over on Main Street. It was awesome. The service was good. The food was on point. Price point was on point. You got to go. That's what ClayEats is about, not the opposite. We are not, hey, Bob, I went to this restaurant on Main Street and it sucked. It was horrible. The food sucked, the service sucked, and the price point was too high. That's not ClayEats. Okay, so that is not what we're doing. Go somewhere else and talk about it. If you feel the urge that you have to complain and gripe and potentially try to put this business out of business, go to Yelp or go to some other platform. But that's not ClayEats. And here's the overriding principle I want you to understand. Yeah, we get it. Sometimes restaurants fail, and sometimes the servers had a bad day, or the manager just doesn't care, or the owner is really not invested anymore, and they screw up and they get bad health reports and they do bad things. Well, if we don't talk about those people and we champion those who are doing it right, the ones who are doing it right are going to show up more in ClayEats. And not to try to demoralize or penalize the people that are doing it wrong, but it may in the end encourage them to strive harder, to be more diligent about providing a better product, a better service, and a better price point. And so I believe if we encourage those who are doing it right versus accentuate the negatives, then in the end, people will continue to raise the bar and hopefully provide services that are better for you and I as the customers. There's plenty of negative on Facebook and anywhere else that we face, anywhere else that we go in life. Just go to the grocery store parking lot or go anywhere. And there's plenty of people that are willing to gripe about things. And I, quite frankly, am over it. And so ClayEats, read the rules when you sign up. One word, ClayEats. I jam stuff together. That's what we're about. And we've hit 10,000 members. So that tells me something, that people are liking what we're doing from the positive standpoint of things. So we're going to keep doing it. And we thank you. If you're a member of ClayEats listening to this, thank you for your patronage. It's pretty cool. The second part of that is employ Clay. Again, two words smashed together, employ Clay. And that's for if you're hiring and looking for qualified candidates in Clay County, or if you're seeking employment, it's free. You can sign up and post, read the rules, and post your information you need from an employer. And then if you're looking for employment, check it out from time to time and see what's available. So we're getting the sheriff department uses us, the Clay County School Board uses us, the hospitals have used us. So we're getting some pretty big employers, but there's also small business owners that are using us. So anyone that's a member of the Northeast Florida Business Alliance has access to that site to help them find employees. Just a Pinch Cafe and Catering uses us all the time. The Orange Park Florist and Gifts uses us all the time. So it's pretty cool and it's working. So I don't know that we're getting, attorneys. We're not hiring attorneys and CPAs off this site, but it's a great site for those that may be looking for an interim job or mid-market job. But that's not to say that others can't list on there, by all means. It just hasn't happened yet. So employ Clay, check them out. And of course, PromoteClay is the site that we use to help promote it. Now, if I think I should wrap up here for the sake of this broadcast. So we're going to give this. We did some coaching episodes earlier under the Small Business Patriot, the Saturday morning coaching call. We've done 25 episodes, 24, 25 episodes. Have not gotten a tremendous amount of traction. That's okay. And as a marketer, I believe you have to throw things against the wall and try things. And if you don't try them, you don't know. But this is something that was tried and true through PromoteClay, and it had great success. The Friday morning wrap up. We're gonna call it the end of week update. End of week update. Northeast Florida Business Alliance end of week update. And so weigh in with some comments if you like this. I don't want to do the Facebook Live again. It was fun. It was kind of gitchy and comical, but I want to raise the bar a little bit more professional. And hopefully this format makes better sense. So I'm going to wrap it up here. And today is Sunday, so I'll probably be doing these on Saturday morning or Friday evening as far as the taping of it. And as soon as there's broadcast, I'll put it up and it'll be available for Monday. And of course, it's going to be in the Northeast Florida Business Alliance page on Facebook, as well as, if you're not aware of this, I have a newsletter that goes out every Monday morning at 6 a.m. called the Small Business Patriot. And I'll put a link in the show notes how you can sign up for the Small Business Patriot. It's a weekly email newsletter. Hit your email box on Monday mornings at 6 a.m. And then if you don't open it on Monday morning, it's through Constant Contact. It'll land in your mailbox again on Wednesday. And the cool thing is, in the email, it's kind of a national audience for small business owners. There's a legislative update that's going on in Washington, that anything to do with Small Business Committee. It's got some marketing tips and insights and ideas about things that I'm thinking about and my customers are talking to me about. And the cool thing is, it's got not only this broadcast will be in it, but you can look at toward the bottom of the page and you can see where we're going to be meeting on that Thursday of that week. And so it's one more element to show you our scheduling for Northeast Florida Business Alliance gatherings. And I want to encourage you, if you're a small business owner or professional, small business owner and or professional that lives in Clay, Duval, or St. Johns County, Florida, come on board and join us for $96. $96 for an annual membership. It's pennies. It'll be so worth it. And come on board with us and be part of the group that's changing the way we do business, one relationship at a time. So I know it'll be a great benefit, because people that have joined us have had success with us and continue to stay with us. So again, I'm gonna sign off there. My name is David Theus, like the US. On behalf of the Small Business Patriot and Northeast Florida Business Alliance, I appreciate you tuning in to this the very first episode of the Northeast Florida Business Alliance end of week update. And we will see you next week. Thanks, guys.